Sun's in my eyes, sorry.
Okay. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining. I want to call the City of Albuquerque Commission on American Indian and Alaska Native Affairs general meeting to order. Today is Wednesday, March 9th, 2022, and it is 5:25 p.m. We'll do roll call just for the record. If you could please mute yourself and let us know that you are present. And if you are able to, if you could turn on your video, at least for this roll call portion. And if not, it's okay. We know that some commission members are on the road right now. So I'm just gonna go through the commission member list here. Please let us know that you are present. Appreciate it. Dr. Lee.
Present, I'm here.
Thank you. Denise Zuni. Thelma, could you just note that Commissioner Zuni was on, but she had to leave early today?
Yes.
Okay. Jimmy Secretaro. I'll mark as absent. Lorenzo Jim.
Yes, I'm present.
Thank you. Commissioner Marissa Naranjo. And I'm just going to check the attendee list just in case, because sometimes the link sends commissioners to the attendees list instead of the panelist list. So, okay, I don't see her in the attendees list. Commissioner Kyle Tapaha.
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Thelma Antonio.
Present. My video isn't working. It says host turned it off or something, but I'm here.
Can you troubleshoot that, Terry?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Thelma. Commissioner Kim Gleason.
Present.
Thank you. And Commissioner Kim Benally. Let me check here. No, she's not in the attendees list. Okay, thank you, everyone. Thelma, can you confirm the attendance for this evening and that we've established quorum? I have 6 commissioners present, including myself, and I have 3 commissioners absent.
Correct.
All right, thank you, everyone. Does anyone want to volunteer to provide our invocation this evening? And if not, it's totally okay. I can provide one as well. All right. Thank you. Please, fellow commissioners and guests, if you could join us in our invocation. We invite everyone to also participate as you wish and to bring good blessings into this meeting as in what ways that make it more meaningful for you. Thank you, everyone. Nice dia, Sayayus, Dawa and Yuna, Titat, Daiwat Tani, Hitna, Bakai me and Yuna, Tishapat, Daiwat Tani, Heya Utu Midrani, Nuotra, Gortamane. Mother, Father, Creator, thank you for giving us the breath of life today. Please continue to guide us, to help us, to provide us strength in order to make it easy for us to do what we are tasked to do today, to learn from each other, to draw upon the knowledge and wisdom, the strength and blessings of our ancestors. Let it be so. Dawa, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Our first item on our agenda is to approve of the meeting agenda this evening. Is there any other items that commission members would like to add before I continue on?
This is Kim. I just have a date to share for the Albuquerque subcommittee for the performing arts space. Whenever we get to that spot,
Okay.
to that place.
Okay, sounds good. And I'm going to share my screen here real quick so everyone can see the agenda if there's any edits that are needing to happen. So I'm going to add here on 5B 7, Kim. Okay. And just an update in case some of the commissioners missed it, we will be taking off 4A. Our first presenter had an emergency today, so we're going to schedule this presenter for April. So 4B will move to 4A. Okay. And real quickly, wanted to just make sure that we didn't overlook any items from February's meeting notes. When Thelma and I looked back, we missed some and wanted to just make sure of whether or not we wanted to add those to this meeting's discussion time. There were 2 items up for discussion and approval, and the first one was the letter of support for the Director of Indian Education. And I wanted to just ask if anybody wanted to propose that for tonight's agenda, or we can select to move it to April.
Yeah, I think it might be good to just put it on the agenda now. So I motion to put that discussion on the agenda.
Okay. Any other thoughts, objections? Okay, moving on. The second item from February's meeting minutes was discussion and possible motion to changing the commission name. Do we want to add that to this evening's meeting or April?
Madam Chair, this is Kyle. I'd like to see this move to April. Just gives us some more time to come up with suggestions for names, and then pull our resources to see what else we need to do.
Okay, any other thoughts, objections to that?
Madam Chair, I think that it is a good idea to move it to April as well, just so we can have more commission members here.
Madam Chair, this is Thelma. I also agree with moving it to April so we can find out the process on what, like another organization or one of the city offices, how they did it.
Okay, and I see Dr. Lee, your head nod. Is that in agreement?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And Commissioner Jim, do you have any thoughts, objections to that? Just let us
No, I think
know.
it's, no, I think it's a good idea to, again, just give more input and more information on the process of changing the name and also including other commission members. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone. So for now, we have 4C, the letter to support the transition of a new director of Indian education on the agenda for discussion and possible approval. Any other items before we move on and take a vote? And I have the next meeting for Wednesday, April 13th, 2022 at 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. All right. Shall we move to a vote? Do I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda with the changes that have been added for this evening?
A motion to approve the agenda with the added changes.
All right, I have a motion from Dr. Lee. Can I get a vote, or can I get a second, please?
This is Kyle, I second.
Thank you, Kyle. I have a second from Kyle. Can I have a vote from the rest of the commission members? Either you can verbalize or put in the chat.
This is Lorenzo, yes, I vote.
This is Kim, and I vote yes.
Thank you. And I have oh, I see your your vote, Kyle, in the chat. Thelma, can I get your vote?
Yes.
All right, thank you. And that's a yes from me. We have 6 votes of yes to pass the agenda for this evening, so that is passed. Thank you, everyone. Item number 3 is the approval of the minutes, February minutes. Those were sent out. Does anybody have any edits? And if not, we'll move to a vote. All right, any edits, changes? Can I have a vote to approve the meeting minutes for February?
This is Commissioner Jim, I vote to approve the minutes for February.
Thank you, Commissioner Jim. Do I have a second?
This is Dr. Lee, I second.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. Can I have a vote from the rest of the commission members? And verbalize or put it in the chat.
This is Kim, I vote yes.
Thank you, Kim.
This is Thelma, I vote yes.
Thank you. Kyle. Thank you. I see your vote of yes in the chat, and that's a vote of yes from me. The meeting minutes for February are passed and approved. Thank you, everyone. Our first item for new business this evening on the agenda, now that is 4A. We have our first presenter, and I'm actually gonna hand it over to you, Kyle, to do introductions while I move our attendees into panelist mode. So if you could do that.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, so I ran into Warlance Chi. He is part of, I believe, CEO of Saab Kibiye, which is a language nest program. And recently he was voted in to the Native Leadership Collective of Albuquerque. So he's one of 3 new members. We think it was a good idea to invite him to the commission to introduce himself and his team. They are doing very, very wonderful work. They have virtual events all through the month, and yeah, he's a new, he has several projects on the horizon as well, so it would be wonderful to introduce what he's doing, him and his team that are doing that, they'll be doing here in Albuquerque. So.
Oh yeah, I can't turn on my video, so that's legend. So yeah, good evening. Yeah, it's an application. Kile chini bashes chin or sanda should say. Doshin he doesn't nulla. Aaron Lebeck Helkaida in Sha. So good evening. I'm Warlance Chi, originally from Lake Valley, New Mexico, and currently reside in Albuquerque for the past about 26 years. So nice to meet everyone. Chanel.
Thank you, Mr. Chief, for joining us. Before we continue with your presentation, is everyone else that should be a panelist here? I have a Cheryl Yazi. I don't know if there's anyone else. Okay, is there anyone else that I need to move over as a panelist?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining. We're going to hand it over to you.
Okay, yat Cheryl Yazi in the share. A sheen a slon, Twitch getting bushes chain to a bahe a dash a chado, Shastane, a dash another out the nest and Hi, everybody. My name is Cheryl Yazi, and I work with Warlance in the Saad Kadaliat Language Nest, and I reside in Tuajile, New Mexico. Thank you for having us. Additional.
Okay, I guess I get started here. So Nana, good evening. So I'll just share a PowerPoint and a presentation here. Saad Kibilia is our kind of our group name. And once we get the language nest open, it'll probably be Saad Kibilia, the language nest. So here's a core team. I got Dr. Lee from Native American Studies, Cheryl, who's here, Mary Whitehair Frazier, then Dr. Chi, and myself. We've added to our team within the past year. So we have Krista Little Ben, Maltina Chi, who will be caretakers. Greg here is our IT. Karen Largie down here will be our caretaker. And then the rest of the team, Paula, Irvina, Geraldine, Estriazi, Lewis, and Alvino, all work at different capacities as either teachers or volunteering on grants, running the family program, fundraising. So there's different areas that they're supporting us with. So once I get pictures, I think we'll put them all up here nicely. What is a language nest? is a community site-based language program for children from birth to 5 years old, where they are immersed in their native heritage language. A safe home-like environment for young children to interact with speakers, often elders, through meaningful activities. So what is Saad Kedalia? We consider ourselves a grassroots organization from the Albuquerque area, working to create a language nest in the urban community of Albuquerque, New Mexico. So at the initial stages, we're looking to, or we are working with prenatal families, and then their children, their newborns, will be the ones coming into the language nest. So that's where kind of our program starts, is with the prenatal stages. And then we also bring a lot of the culture, language here to the urban setting in Albuquerque. And there's lack of access to language and culture here for the relatives. So we kind of do what we can to fill in that gap there. Mission statement is grounded in the no way of life, using the stories, teachings of the cornfield as it pertains to child growth and development, with the mountains and Hogan applied as thinking and planning tools to root, guide, and design language and holistic learning for our children, grandchildren, mothers, fathers, and relatives, and planting the language for future generations. Vision: our children, grandchildren, mothers, fathers, and relatives will greet one another with their language. Their language will provide them with stories, teaching, songs, and prayers that will be their foundation and provide a beautiful way of life on Mother Earth. So that's our vision statement there. Might be revised a few more times before it's official. So our original framework is from our mission statement is which would be cornfield stories, and how that process works. So then this framework here is Hogan, the doorway to the east, south, west, north. So you start here. We kind of align this with, I guess, a theory of change kind of logic model. So, but we added cornfield stories, stories and songs used with the cornfield. So preparations by Bansizakes, planting by Yajilke, a delay, growth. So these aren't exactly what, this is not an exact translation. So Bansizakes is more the thinking, which is preparations. By Yajilke is the talking, discussion, planning, which is the planting kind of stage. Hey delay is like you're dressing it up, which is the growth. Hey dila, you're getting to dress it up. Corn pollen. Njona, it comes beautiful, which is harvest. And then diyin, it becomes holy, which would be use. So they all go with align with these: thinking, planning, resources, inputs, activities, outputs, outcomes, and impacts. So that's kind of our overarching framework here. At the center framework and methodology we're using to kind of do our planning, thinking and planning, and building this program. Here's our mountain, Hogan again. It's our thinking, planning tool. Again, case, think, talk, do, complete. Is it beautiful? If it is, we bring it into the home. If it's not, you kind of run it through the same cycle again. Then eventually, over time, it becomes holy for you. So this is what we use as a planning and thinking tool in our discussions and things like that. And also this framework and methodology applies to other areas like curriculum development, parenting, early intervention, so stuff like that. This is an overview of the language nest. Basically 4 areas. We got the family program, our caretaker program, a community program, and then our actual language nest. So our language nest will be here in Albuquerque. We do have a space up on Candelaria and Parsifal, which is a couple of streets past Moon. We'll be going through early childhood education and care department for licensure, and we'll be following all their policies and procedures as will be within the city limits here. So our family program consists of, so we have a traditional child development and rearing training. We provide ceremonial guidance support, wellness wheel that we work with them. A language development program, which includes prenatal family language classes, mentor apprentice program, and parenting, and then prevention, I would say, more of a prevention that we do with parents. And then we're collaborating or in the talks, you know, with CWI, which is Changing Women Initiative, and the traditional birthing services that they provide. So we're interested in collaborating with them and providing the kind of traditional birthing service that we could work with them with. Then we also have family meetings, monthly meetings there. Moving on, caretaker program here. So we got again the traditional child development and rearing training for our caretakers, ceremonial guidance support and PD for them. We also do a wellness wheel. They're the ones developing the language development program, and they are implementing the language classes, the parenting classes. We'd have team building PD as a team, about 15, I would say. So we do a lot of different activities in terms of team building, and then a lot of language professional development. Getting ready for the opening of the language nest. Language nest visits and the language nest experience. So we haven't been able to go anywhere due to COVID, but once we do get a chance, we'll be visiting language nests, other indigenous language nests across the country that specialize and work with infants starting from 6 weeks on. We have staff meetings. They also recruit, you know, future caretakers, and we delve into a little bit of Montessori, just kind of introduction to their approach and their frameworks, which is assistance to infancy Montessori orientation and certification. I feel that that's a good, you know, some that we can bring under our philosophy of child development and rearing. Our community program, some of these are running, but most are virtual here. They were face-to-face, but due to the surge, everything went back virtual. Singing, dancing, arts and crafts, which will be starting this weekend, is moccasin making. We have language classes, Mondays and Fridays, 5:30 to 7:30. The neck culture, all online, twice a week, on Wednesday, or twice a month on Wednesdays. We'll be getting into our planting here and getting the cornfield ready. We have ceremonial guidance and support for the community. And then we have our community Kache Sweat Lodge, one for females, women, and then one for men. And then community meetings, you know, there's that in there. We haven't had one here in a few months. So that's like basically our community program. And this it's been running about since maybe November, and everything's picked up since then. But the language classes have been going for a few years now. Before COVID started, and then everything went virtual with that. Vision. So this is what we want to kind of grow into. We're kind of here, starting at the prenatal, work our way out of the womb, the home here, newborn infants. So this is where they'll be coming into the nest. We would like to keep them into their toddler ages, all the way into preschool, then kindergarten. So it would be the Navajo language, the ne is what will be used once the child gets there to once they leave. Then there's some information, emails and stuff for the team here. And thank you. Yeah. I'm not sure if there's any questions.
Thank you so much for that.
Orlance, could you bring up the emails again?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Chief, for that information. I'm going to just open it up to any of the commission members if you have any questions, comments for our presenters.
This is Kim. I just want to thank you all for being here. This is just very awesome to see that an organization like you is around. I would love for you and I to get in contact more and maybe speak more about your arts and crafts committee, or if you have a committee for that, love to be in contact with someone who I could talk more about that that specific circle. I guess my question would be if children can start at any part of that circle and move up. I have a 4-year-old and I would love for him to start getting acquainted with the culture more, but he's no longer an infant. So that would be my first question.
So right now we're just kind of in the beginning stages of getting this language nest going. So there's not, it's not, so this family that we're working with right now, they would be, their infants would be coming in, and that's kind of where we'll be starting at this point. And those kids will be moving forward. But in terms of having something for kids that are, 3, 4, 5, we don't have anything at the moment. I have reached out to other people, whoever might be interested in kind of delving into that work and establishing something. It's a lot of work, but I haven't had nobody come forward and say, yeah, let's go start pre-K. Let's start at the pre-K. I mean, we're going to get there, but it'll be about 3 years from now, 4 years, and then we'll get to the kindergarten. So yeah, at that point, well, yeah, so we're just kind of in the very kind of infant, we're just beginning. Yeah, we haven't even had the daycare open yet. So we're targeting August 2022. So this coming fall, we'll have our grand opening, and we'll be sure to invite you guys to that. But yeah, I mean, if there's people willing, to get together, meet, work on that, come up with a plan, and to implement something, that would be nice. It would kind of give us a head start on, what we need to look forward to. So we've been at this about 4 years now. We started this about 4 years ago, and it's barely coming into fruition. It's gonna here in the next 6 months.
Thank you again for your presentation.
Thank you. I have Commissioner Tabaha. He has his hand raised. You have a question, comment?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Hi, so yeah, Warlance, I just wanted to say thank you for joining our meeting. I do see the need to have a program like yours front and center. And I think it does speak to Commissioner Kim Gleason's question is, you know, this program is starting with our younger kids, and it will eventually grow just like your cornfield will. So I'm very happy that you joined the NLC, and just let me know if there's anything else that I could do to help. And just another comment too, I'll be working with youth councils coming up pretty soon too. So we're putting things together in this fashion of helping our younger people. So I also invite, if anybody else wants to join in. I know right now I'm talking with the American Indian Business Association. They're reforming at UNM, so we have some opportunity to get more people involved. And since our COVID numbers are going down, and you know, people are wanting to meet back up, I think this would be a good time to talk about stuff like that. So again, thank you, Warlands, for joining us.
We have another comment
Thank you.
from Commissioner Antonio. You have your hand raised.
Yes, thank you for the presentation. It's really nice to hear about programs such as this. How long has your organization been running, and also how many people do you serve?
So our organization, I guess you could say unofficially, we've been meeting like about 4 years, going on 4 years. But we've, I guess you could say we've been officially an organization with a fiscal sponsor since last summer due to some grant funding that we got with the planning, and then starting to implement some of the planning and things that we did. So, but we'll be a nonprofit here within the next, probably by the summer, so that we can run the languageness on our own without any oversight from our fiscal sponsor, which is NACA Inspired School Networks, NISN. That's who we're kind of working with. I'm a fellow with them, developing and working on all this. So there's a lot of pieces to this thing. Who we serve is the Dene population here in Albuquerque and the surrounding areas. And then I'm pretty sure with everything being virtual, he knows probably going more out there to Arizona, Navajo Nation, and around the world. So we have families like from Australia, New Zealand, Navajo families that live out there that kind of attend some of these classes on a consistent basis. So they've been, you know, wanting to have these classes continue. But yeah, so that's who we serve at the moment. But starting when the languageness opens up, we'll have up to 6 infants in there. And if there's a demand, we can move it up to 12. And then once they move up, you know, they'll just kind of be, I guess they'll trickle in, you know, whenever they're born. So it's kind of, you know, we provide the support, you know, the guidance, but we would, you know, the family, you know, has to also kind of meet us halfway and make a commitment in terms of language classes, trainings, and different things with the program. So, you know, with that, you know, sometimes for some families, you know, sometimes they have a tight work schedule. They can't commit to language classes and things like that. So, yeah, so that's who we serve. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, about how many people actually attend, or that you take care of? How many families?
Oh, right now we have 1 family in our prenatal on board. So they just been on board about 2 months. So they're doing all the classes, the trainings. They're doing the CWI, traditional birthing. We had a couple other families interview. So we go through a kind of a whole process, a vetting process, just to make, you know, sure that, you know, they understand the commitment to kind of language revitalization and a kind of a lifestyle change, and to really, learn that language, to really kind of apply yourself and have that motivation, to, 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 to learn the language and the culture, as the child will be a first generation, speaker of the language, and they need to develop that language to communicate too with their child. So those are kind of the population we're working with here in the city, is parents that lack the language skills and the cultural knowledge. So we kind of provide all that support and guidance for them from a traditional perspective. So
For our language classes, we probably have a consistent number of about maybe 30 people. We have a class on Monday evenings. There's two different instructors, so we have a consistent number of people that come. Like Warland said, we have families that attend from Australia and New Zealand that work there, but they want to continue to hear the language and exchange sentences and learn from one another. And then, we have our culture nights, which we have 2 times a month. And with that, we probably reach maybe about 100 or so people out of that. And then we have our Facebook pages where we kind of update and provide information as well. So the nest itself will be serving prenatals and infants, but our community program reaches out everywhere. We do a lot of virtual platforms, so we reach a lot of people. And so to say that we reach only 30 families would be a disservice to us, just because we reach so many more through our social platforms, through our other programs that we do, our arts and craft programs. And then a lot of our in-person stuff is limited due to COVID restrictions. Hopefully a lot of that will start lifting, because we're not in our own building as of yet. So we're kind of limited to how many we can have in a building per our partners, the partners that we collaborate with their rules, with their building rules. But we probably reach a lot more than that. So if that helps and adds to what Werlance was saying.
Oh, that's good to hear. Much luck to your program. Thank you.
oh, thank you.
Thank you. If there's any other questions, comments from any of the rest of the commission members at this time?
This is Lorenzo. I just want to make a comment.
Oh, yeah, this is the
Ashjane in la thought in on this lahagi, ado ben nuts story. Joy ani, alenigi at Mashi ben nuts bits ado non can be salasa and the shiota. Although to be able to engage with and provide that educational support, as well as the cultural connectedness and looking ahead for our children as well. So we'd like to hear more, as this begins to grow. And to offer more support for you as well. And, just to share as well in the community, the good work that you're all doing.
Yeah, whenever you guys want to update this, Kyle can reach out to me and just let me know, and can come in and do an update. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chi and Ms. Yazi, for taking time out of your evening to share your really wonderful program and services to the community here in Albuquerque. I really appreciate the work that you all are doing. it makes me think I wish I had known about it sooner, because there are so many families, especially Dene families that could really benefit and want this. I think there's definitely the want is there. My work has been specifically in early childhood education and mainly in home visiting. And I just had one question before we kind of wrap things up. Have you had a chance to connect with any home visiting programs in Albuquerque at all? Any type of early childhood services yet?
No, not at the moment. Only just with the early childhood education care department with Deputy Archuleta.
Mhm.
We've had some meetings with her about that, but in terms of parenting programs, we haven't met with anybody. We are working with Geraldine Tolino. Not sure if you know her, but they're kind of, and then a couple other ladies, they're kind of developing that parenting model, kind of based on our traditional philosophies of child development and rearing. So, yeah, so they have something going, a framework there. I haven't seen it here in a few weeks, so. But yeah, we are developing that and looking to implement that with the families.
Well, I mention it because one of the main home visiting programs that is in Albuquerque right now that works only with Native families is Napper's Tribal Home Visiting Program, and that's the program that I was actually directing, for almost 10 years. And the majority of the families that we were serving, they were families that had very young children from 0 to 5 years old and were prenatal, so they were expecting families. The majority that we served were families that were Dene. And so that was one of the things that the families wanted and asked for the most that we couldn't provide for them, was really around language. So if you all need any support in connecting with the programs here in Albuquerque, I would offer my assistance with that, because they're in connection with families, that are having babies, here in Albuquerque and in the surrounding areas. So I'm just thinking it would just be a matter of connecting you all with them, and then whatever families they come in contact with, they can refer them to you and make those connections. So I'm gonna put my contact information in the chat, so feel free to reach out to me if you need any other assistance with that, not just with home visiting services, but like early intervention, childcare. Those are the services that are usually making contact with families that are looking for more language support. So just thank you for your service again. So I'm gonna do that before we move on here.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, we'll definitely, I'll definitely reach out to you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Chi and Miss Yazi. You all stay safe, stay well, and we're just very grateful for having learned about your program and services tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
All right, our next item on our agenda this evening is 4B, public comment. I have not received any public comment. I want to just check in with Mr. Stallone. Have you received any?
Madam Chair, I have not received any requests for comments or received any comments, but I would like to note that Christina Parahan is on the meeting tonight. I don't know if she was going to attempt to present. Just to let you know.
Yes, Commissioner Tapa?
I apologize, but it looks like that is not Christina. It is Felicia. She's with the New Mexico Coalition to End Homelessness. She was just asked to be here just in case we have questions about point in time count.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. We will have to move that agenda item to April since we already approved the meeting agenda for this evening. If that's okay. Thank you for joining and we appreciate it. Okay, our other item on this evening's agenda for C is discussion and approval of any new action items. And for the discussion today is the letter of support for the new director of Albuquerque Indian Education, and wanted to just open it up for discussion at this time. And if there's anyone that can provide us any updates or information around that, please do so.
Yeah, this is Dr. Lee. I haven't had a chance to email Phil Farson, who's the interim director for Indian Education, to find out if they sent out a new notification on the job opening. So I haven't asked him yet about that. But Phil has been the interim director ever since Daisy Thompson retired last summer. And I haven't seen any notification or anything about the job opening. So I don't know what APS is deciding. I think I would assume that they're going to advertise for the job because I don't think the interim tag is gonna, usually those only last for a year and then the next person comes in. At least that's how it usually functions, but I'm not quite sure what APS is thinking. And like I said, I haven't seen any notification of a job opening for the director. So I think one of the things that I'd like for us to consider is to say, is to really request that they have someone in place by the time the new school year starts in August, because it's already March. And so that's 5 months away. And I'm not quite sure how long it takes for APS to hire someone. If they do like, when they post on their job listings, is it a month? Is it a couple of weeks? Is it a week? I'm not quite sure. I mean, I can go with my experience with it here at UNM, but that's a little different as in a university setting versus, a school district. So I'm assuming that they're going to advertise it, but I don't know when.
Any other thoughts? I think it would be a good idea to invite Phil to the next meeting, or at least to a future meeting, to provide an update. It's been a while since we've had an update directly from into education, and that was when Dr. Thompson was still there. So it would be nice to at least get some information. And if in that time we could have a draft, or at least the final draft, if that's the way that the commission wants to go, we could have it ready to present, and kind of inform him, between now and the next meeting, what that letter would look like, or what he maybe input or ideas he has of what we could include in it, to try and just put some more, just some more like pressure on being able to get that going and get it going soon, because I'm sure there's a lot of responsibilities and things that need to be happening with that role being not vacant. So that's just kind of my initial thoughts and feelings right now on that. Any other thoughts? And I do believe we would need Commissioner Jim back. I can't think he
Oh,
lost
he
his
dropped off.
connection. Yeah, in order
Oh.
to vote for it. So we can give him a couple minutes. He said, I think he
Oh,
messaged
okay.
me here. He was gonna get back on here in a little bit.
Yeah, I think your idea, Rebecca, Chair Riley, is a good one. I think it would be good to invite him next month and then have a draft at least of a letter so that we can share it with him. Yeah, because I think, I'm just worried about how long do they take to hire someone, and if I haven't seen any notification of a job opening at all, so that's the concern.
It sounds like they just need a little bit of a push. Yeah, it'd be nice
Yeah.
to have someone before the school year. So I agree with everyone's comments.
And I do know that they have regular the parent meetings. They're like quarterly, and Phil's a part of those meetings. So I'm wondering if we can get the chair kind of involved. I forget her name, but she coordinates their meetings and the things that are up for discussion. So maybe we can ask her to be involved. I'm not sure if this has been a item of discussion for their meetings or not. I haven't been able to attend the last two, I think. But yeah, that might be another idea, another person to get involved if they're not already.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. I'm just looking at their website. Their next parent committee meeting is March 17th.
Okay. And maybe I can put that on my calendar to see if anybody else wants to join me. They're really interesting. They have a pretty good handful of attendees attend the parent meeting. So be nice to see if we can connect on this issue. Yes,
Yeah.
Commissioner Tapaha.
Yeah, if you allow me, I'll go with you to the meeting.
Okay, they're usually in the evening, kind of like around this time.
Is it a in-person meeting?
They've usually been through Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah, there's parent meetings which are open to well, I guess they're both open to the public, but there's parent meetings for specifically for parents who have students in APS, enrolled in APS, and then they have their parent committee meetings, which there's like appointed members and they have a formal agenda. So those are quarterly. I don't know about their other parent meetings, what their schedule is. But usually you have to have a student enrolled and the invitation is sent to you specifically, but the parent committee meetings are on their website, and those are open to anyone who's interested in joining. Okay, well, we can just put this item on pause to see if we can get our quorum back. See if,
Okay.
and if somebody wants to message Commissioner Jim hopefully he's okay. I hope he's safe. Just to see if he can connect or if he's having trouble connecting back on. It'd be good to know before we end this evening. Okay, so I'm going to move on. We're going to pause on this item. Moving on to item 5, Commission Administrative Matters. We invite Don Begay, City of Albuquerque Native American Affairs or Liaison, or Terry Salone, City of Albuquerque Intergovernmental Tribal Liaison, to provide any updates. Don, are you there? Are you here with us? Hi.
Hi, commission members. Madam Chair, thank you.
Your audio is really low. I don't know if any other members are hearing the same.
Okay, is that any better?
It's a little better.
Mm. Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. I do have a couple of updates. First, the Office of Equity and Inclusion has moved offices. We are now on the 4th floor, room 4072 at City Hall. Once we've completely settled in, we do plan to have an open house and invite everyone. But you can come now and see the new space. Our office has expanded, and this new space will accommodate all of the staff members. And we've also had a change in staffing. Drew Ayotte, our public information officer, he has moved from the Office of Equity and Inclusion to the city's Department of Parks and Recreation. And while he's no longer our PIO, he will still continue to do the comms for the 4-H park. Also, Andrea Calderon, she's our data and equity data analyst. Her last day will be this Friday on March 11th. She will be moving to the Johns Hopkins University. So I believe we will have a data analyst position available very soon. Also, the Office of Equity Inclusion, we're evaluating and possibly restructuring some of our service delivery. And this will change a little bit of where our focus is going to be. And so as soon as we have these new initiatives, we will be sharing it with the commission. So a lot of it is going to be looking and evaluating the resolutions and ordinances that were passed last year and this year, particularly for every office to have a race equity plan, to also reevaluate the procurement process, and also to have a language access plan. So a lot of the work is going to be refocusing on that and providing a lot of technical assistance and support to city departments. And that's going to be one of the primary focus pieces. And for our services, the community block parties, that's one of the initiatives that we have, which is to kind of bring together city departments to share and offer their services and resources at each of the community centers every weekend. So this coming weekend, they'll be at Highland High School, and we're really wanting to have the Native American community come to this event, but also to see if we can start recruiting interpreters. There has been an increased demand to have Navajo language interpreters or volunteers attend. And so this is where we could use a lot of help in recruiting for those type of services, but also how we might be able to include this into our language access plan, as more city departments are also asking for Navajo and Keres interpretation and translation services for strategies on how to provide that communication in different languages. So we will be evaluating our current language access plan, and then also expanding or something for Indigenous languages and having something more concrete. So if there's anyone who's interested in volunteering, or if you have, if you like to set up a booth or provide some type of services for these community block parties, I will put Nicole and Beatrice's email in the account chat, and then you can contact them to let them know this is something that you're interested in. And the last piece is May 5th is Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women Awareness Day. And so our group is really wanting to do a media campaign or a series of events around that date. And so we are continuing our community planning meetings for that. Also, if someone's interested, we can share the email to get more people involved in that process. So that is all the updates that I have. Oh wait, sorry, I got Terry is also continuing with the 4-H park and tribal consultation. We have asked to be on the All Pueblo Council of Governors agenda, and I believe they're working to see if we can get on the March agenda, where we will provide them an update, as well as to schedule one more tribal consultation meeting over the GPR survey results. Once we've completed the tribal consultation discussions, then we will plan to move forth with sharing our updates and progress and data results publicly, and also other upcoming community discussions that'll include info sessions and also planning or redesign sessions. But all of those have been tentatively or postponed until we complete the tribal consultation process. Parks and Rec has also extended a contract with the researcher who is going into more about the possible identities of, where we can collect information about who may have been buried there back when the cemetery was in operation. And so those are the two pieces that are the primary focus for right now. It's just the research and tribal consultation. So we don't really have anything else that we can speak to in terms of like next steps until we finish those two pieces. I believe that is it. Are there any questions on any of these?
Hello, Don. This is Kim. I would like to know if you have the times for this weekend for that community block party.
Yes, it is from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock.
Thank you.
Any other questions, thoughts for Dawn?
Thank you. Appreciate the time.
All right, thank you for your information. We really appreciate it. And if there's any questions or information for Terry, please feel free to reach out to him and email him. He had to get off a little early this evening to attend another meeting. I just wanted to make sure we noted that. Commissioner Jim, thank you for reconnecting. In the time that you were away, we were having a discussion on whether to motion to draft a support letter for the filling of the director's position with APS Indian Education. And Dr. Lee was giving us some information, at least to a little bit of the background and some ideas of how we could further support that effort. One of the ideas that was mentioned was possibly inviting Phil Farson, he's the interim director right now, to the next meeting in April to provide an update. It's been a while since we've had an update directly from APS Indian Education. And I think that was like one of the first presenters we had share with us at a commission meeting. I think that was pre-COVID even, with Dr. Thompson. And so that was one idea. And another idea was to reach out to the chair of the parent committee, the Indian parent committee, of just kind of getting an idea if this was something that they would like to support also. And so now that we have a quorum right now, do we want to motion? But before we do that, Commissioner Jim, did you have any questions on that discussion item?
No, well, just the letter of support, is it for, has the position been filled? I know I was aware of interviews, it was about a year ago, I think. And is there a need to expedite the process, or I guess what's the tone of this letter that is needed?
Yeah, I think there's the concern that the position hasn't been filled yet, and it would be, I think, most beneficial, or at least the idea is that it would be most beneficial to have that position filled before the next school year, and hopefully get some support from maybe other groups or individuals that could help expedite that process, or at least kind of get the ball rolling on advertising the vacancy. And is there any other thoughts that any of the other commission members wanna share? If I missed anything. Does that answer your question, Commissioner Jim?
Yes, and is this open for discussion as part of an, I guess, an add-on to this agenda?
Any thoughts? Do we feel comfortable in moving to a vote, or does anybody want a motion? Are there any other concerns we should talk about?
I think, so you're asking for a motion for the letter and meeting with Phil, or or just maybe the other approach?
Yeah, I guess that's what we'll have to agree on, is which one seems better at this point.
Okay. I think, just thinking about it, maybe going the direction of just asking Phil in a general way, what's the status, and then maybe going to the parent committee. I don't know, maybe, I mean, they should have more information about what's going on, I would assume. So I'm thinking probably the parent committee might probably be the first approach to take, but because I don't know if it's more appropriate just to go directly to Phil or to the parent committee. I'm not quite sure. Will the parent committee feel like they're being circumvented? I don't know. I don't know anyone on the parent committee, so.
I'm sort of on the same circle as well, Madam Chair, that I don't know how they usually run their meetings at those events. It doesn't seem like we need to vote on anything tonight, though.
I have Commissioner Chapa and Antonio share your thoughts.
Yeah, Madam Chair, this is Kyle. So I know Phil through an event that we did last year. I think it would be good to get an update from him, and then find out where they are in that process. I know it may take a long time. Dr. Lee had mentioned that that their process is pretty long, so just getting a general idea might be better. Yeah, I think I would like to see an update of where they're at with this.
Thank you. Mr. Antonio, any additional thoughts, concerns?
So it's just a matter of inviting him to the meeting, the next meeting. And then, so if he doesn't show up, then I guess a letter then, or what?
We can put that again as a discussion item on the agenda, whether we feel like we need a vote on it or not, but at least it would be on the agenda. And I guess what I'm sensing tonight is that we are in agreement that at least for this next step would be to invite Phil to the next meeting and just be very explicit about the intention of why we're inviting him. Not just an update, but specifically we would like if he could speak on this issue, that would be great.
Okay, that sounds good.
That sounds good.
Okay, well, I'm making a note, and if you could make a note, Selma, to just make that a task so that we can reach out to him, and I'll go ahead and volunteer to do that, and we'll put him as a agenda item for April.
Madam Chair, just maybe a side note, I actually have a meeting with him tomorrow
Okay.
at 2 o'clock. If you want to chime in on that meeting.
I will leave it up to you if you feel like that's the appropriate time. I'm checking my calendar real quick.
There's flexibility. I think he'll be open. But
Okay.
I am, like, again, I'm just open to further discussion just on a tone of support, or like I said, to expedite or to really express concern would be a tone maybe. So,
Yeah, I think both, just we're here to support him, and if there's anything that we can do at the commission, like a letter, maybe proposing the idea of providing a letter of support. If there's, but also I think, in tandem, learning about the process of, what would hypothetically or typically happen when this vacancy is not being filled right away? And is there anything that we can do to help push that? Can we help advertise it? Can we get the word out? Can we offer recommendations for individuals that might, fit that role? So I think more of a sense of, we're coming with support, but also we're concerned as well because we haven't seen, advertisement for that, for hiring for that role, but also, what's kind of their timeline, because we want to ensure that, Native students are supported for the coming year. And I'm available tomorrow, so I can get on a meeting if you would like me to. And anyone else, if you're available too, I welcome you to join. Does that sound okay, Commissioner Jim?
Yes, I'll send you the details and then
Okay,
about the flexibility. Thank you.
okay, sounds good. Okay, thank you, everyone. Moving on, is there any other items while we're on this topic for April from any of the information that John Begay shared that you want to add or talk about? Okay, we'll move on to item 5B, any commission sector reports or updates. And I'm just gonna, again, open it up to anyone who would like to share information or updates regarding any appointed sectors, but just if there's any other updates you would like to share. And also, Commissioner Gleason, if this is the time you want to share as well, please feel free to do so.
If no one else wants to go, I'll go. So we have a subcommittee that's been approved by everyone here. Thank you for, Madam Chair, for giving me this opportunity to start the subcommittee, because it's starting to get out there with the documentary that's happening right now with the organization. And we have put some space aside for April 4th, which is a Monday, to speak with our community about what this performing arts space looks like for Albuquerque. It's going to be from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and it's going to be on Zoom. And if you would like to attend, so far, other theater organizations that we're acquainted with include Vortex Theater, Adobe Theater, North Forest Theater, New National Hispanic Culture Center, and 516 Arts. Their representatives will be at this meeting to kind of help us push forward and what this design and the concept is. They're going to be offering their voice on what they've done in the past to integrate their own performing arts space and how they can help support this this new performing arts space coming up in 2023 or possibly even sooner. And so we're asking for other theater organizations as well as art organizations to be a part of this, especially if you're from a Native American or Indigenous organization. And you can feel free to contact me at the twoworlds.nm@gmail.com. I have not officially made a flyer for it, but I think that is something in the next couple of days I can get together so that we can just share this through our circles and let people know that this is actually happening and we should come together and build it together. It's not just going to be one-sided. We would like to have all of our community members from Native youth all the way to our representatives and elders and tribal community come together and help us design what we're hopefully going to be opening up in 2023 here. And then we've also been speaking to other Native arts organizations that are on a national level, like New Native Theater, Elu Theater, Native voices in Los Angeles. Everyone knows that this is something that we would like to build here in Albuquerque, and they're completely for it. And what we've been speaking about is once we have this space open and running, we would bring other Native theater organizations on a national level to Albuquerque to have our first Albuquerque Native American theater festival, which it would hopefully be an annual event that could help the city kind of shine the light on the wonderful artists that are here, and both on the national level as well. So we'll be speaking more about this, and if any of you would like to come, you're very much welcome to. So as soon as I get the information concrete and everyone has the information they need to be part of this event on April 4th, I will share that with everyone here. And I'm just really excited to get this going. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Gleason. That sounds really exciting. And yes, please send us any information, especially if you'd like for us to kind of share widely. That'd be great. I'll go next for the commission subcommittee on the report to the mayor. So we did have a chance to meet and discuss on items that we would like to be included in a draft, and we kind of put together a kind of a outline of the different sections. And thank you, Dr. Lee, for sending us those previous commission reports to the mayor. That was really helpful, and we're using that as a place to jump off. And what we're hoping to do, our aim is to try and get a draft to you all by April. So we're looking at hopefully a quick turnaround time to get that to you all, so that you all can have some time to, we'll present it at the next meeting, but then have some time to review that and provide any other input as well. We just wanted to give a heads up that if there's sections there that we might need a little bit more guidance on, we'll reach out to commissioners individually, and we'll be working to try to include the activities, the accomplishments, even some lessons learned and some recommendations that we have collected over the past 2 years to be included in that report. So if you have any ideas, or if you want to wait just until the draft is done, please, feel free to send to me, Thelma, Kyle, I think Commissioner Gleason, and Commissioner Naranjo is on that commission subcommittee. So we welcome any ideas as well. We want to just make this a kind of collective effort, but also make it as meaningful as possible to show the work that this commission has been involved in thus far. So is there any other things that I missed that any of the other commission members wanted to add to? And I'm sorry, I'm also Commissioner Antonio's on that subcommittee as well. Okay, there's no questions.
Yeah,
oh.
there's a quick question.
Yeah.
So is the report going to be written only, or is it going to also include an oral presentation?
Good question. I guess we hadn't thought about that. It could. I don't see why not.
Well, I was just asking because I think we never did a presentation. We just did a written report, and it was submitted to the mayor. I think
Okay.
though we thought about doing one, and I can't remember, something happened, and it was just it just didn't work out. I guess there was a date and the mayor couldn't do it or something, and then it just kind of continued on and we totally forgot about it after a few months. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter to me, but I was just curious.
Yeah, I can definitely put that on our agenda for our next subcommittee meeting, and I'll hold it as an item for discussion and kind of get an idea from Don or Terry what the process would be to go about that. But I think that's something to definitely to consider if we can. I think it would be more impactful to be able to present to the mayor himself. Any other questions? Ideas, thoughts? Yes.
This is I was just wondering if we had mentioned in our subcommittee how many times the frequency we'd like to do the report. Dr. Lee, did you guys have the amount of times you guys wanted to do the report to the mayor? Because we were thinking every 6 months, but do you think it would be better if we do every quarter?
Yeah, we were, I think we're all busy. So we just said once a year. So I remember that. It was like, yeah, they didn't want to do it quarterly. I remember that. We had a discussion with it. It's like too many times, 4 times a year. But yeah, so we just said one time. So, but I think whatever the commission wants to do, I think it's a good approach to take. Maybe twice a year might be good. Every 6 months.
I would say biannually for sure. Things change with COVID all the time. Seems like there's 6 months where we shut down and another 6 months we open. Seems to be the process.
Thank you, commissioners. That's all I had for that, Madam Chair.
Questions? All right, thank you. Any other updates?
Just an announcement. The Institute for American Indian Education, they had a call for proposals, and they extended the deadline to Friday. So if you want to do a presentation or submit a presentation topic, you have until Friday to do that. You just go to their website, ieie.unm.edu. I'll put it in the chat. But the theme is, I don't remember if I mentioned this, but the theme is defending Indigenous educational sovereignty, putting education back in the hands of the community people. So that's the theme.
Great, thank you. I'm gonna add another update that I forgot. That Thelma reminded me of. We just wanted to circle back on the website, the commission's website information, and just wanted to ask if we could get a bio from everyone, and if you have a really good selfie picture or a professional picture, you could send that to us. Or if you want to just drop it in the commission's shared drive on Google Drive, that would be really great. Either that, Thelma said she's going to search your Facebook pages and pull off your information from there. So
You could use baby pictures, everybody.
before and after.
we're gonna go and hit the social media and gather pictures.
Oh, no.
So if you could, and even if you want to just send us something that you have, Thelma and I can work to shorten it if you would like for us to do that. I believe there's only so much space on the website, and we want to try to get everybody's information updated. So if you could do that, if your information has changed, mine has. I need to update mine, so we would really appreciate it. Kyle, you had your hand raised.
Yes, Madam Chair, this would probably be a good time. We still need to do our retreat. It'd be nice to see each other again and maybe take a group picture and just show our unity to the city of Albuquerque.
Oh, thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, I'm always remain hopeful that things will change enough for us to be able to do an in-person meeting, because I know that's been asked by a number of commission members, especially some of the newer commission members that joined virtually during the pandemic. So I will definitely make a note on that, and maybe you, Thelma, and I can, when we kind of regroup in the administrative task, we can put that on a list to do, to look into possible locations. Because I think before that we were limited because of the number of people meeting indoors, but it sounds like things are opening up. Yes, Commissioner Jim.
Don't forget the menu to plan that.
Okay. I think Terry owes his donuts for 2 years, so.
Yeah. I just have a couple updates, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Around the cultural sector as well. So there is some planning with APS about a youth event for April 16th, which is on a Saturday. So there's more around the planning and announcement, providing resources, but as well as cultural activities, cultural wellness, cultural enrichment. So it'll be at the Berna Fosio building. So more details to share on and actually will be presented. And also just another update with some of the reopenings. There is a, that you can share, there's a in-person conference scheduled at Isleta Casino, the Native American Training Institute, in April. So I'm going to put in the chat. There's a Gort dance and powwow that's also taking place. But it's also open for presenters right now, which I think they're going to waive like the fees, which are able, the focus is on behavioral health, mental health, but as well as culture. So it's, I don't know how my name ended up on that flyer, but don't mind that. But it's, I'm sure, one of many other cultural activities happening around the community. So, which is, you know, in a way we're headed in a good direction where we can, you know, express our social beings, you know, reconnect in a good way again. And I just wanted to highlight that as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other updates? All right. Gonna move on to our next item here. Our last item on our agenda is 5C Commission Member Recruitment and Application Updates. And this was really just intended as a question for Terry still. Dawn, I don't know if you can relay this information, but I'll be sure to follow up with an email. We just wanted to inquire on the status of the the application that we voted on in February's meeting. And just wanted an update on the status of it. I believe we reviewed 2 applications, and we had approved one candidate for the, I believe it was the workforce and employment sector on the commission. So
Yes, thank you for that. I can provide an update. So the appointment was approved. So the mayor did appoint, so it's going to city council. And I believe it's going to go to the next city council meeting, which is Monday. If not on that agenda, then it'll be in 2 weeks at the next city council meeting. So once I have a date on when it'll be up before city council, I will let the commission members know. So feel free to check the city council's website and the agenda. Since the meetings are Monday and it is on Zoom, they usually post by 2 o'clock every Friday. And so they were meeting at 4 o'clock, but I believe they pushed it back. So now city council meetings start at 5 o'clock, but I will double check the dates and time for everybody, and just so that it's on everyone's radar. Thank you.
okay, thank you. And if there's any correspondence, I just want to make sure that Kyle and Thelma, they can be CC'd on that as well, just so we're all in the loop in case, just in case. I'm always thinking like worst case scenario, I can't respond. Yes, Kyle.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was just going to mention that I have been in contact with Councillor Sanchez. So I live in his district now. So I did send Councillor Benton, who is president of City Council as well, just introducing myself, and they did, their office reached back out to me, and they may be able to help me get some work done too, of bringing what we're working on with our counselors, and most likely they'll bring all the counselors together to have a meeting. So hopefully that's in the works. But yeah, I've been attending city council meetings as well. And if there's anything that we might need to relay to council, I believe I can start doing that as well. So I'm offering that connection between the commission to city council.
Thank you, Commissioner Tapaha. And just FYI, I've asked Commissioner Tapaha to help represent us at the AIO, or the Americans for Indian Opportunity meetings that are monthly. So previously I was attending those just to provide some updates and just information on what the commission's been doing. So Kyle is assisting me on that, but everyone is welcome to attend those meetings. All right, I think that's it. Any other thoughts before we close this evening? And we get to end early. It must be because it's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
That's why Marissa isn't here. It's her birthday too.
Oh, that's right. We share the same
Yeah.
birthday. Gonna have to text her
We used to
later.
have cake and stuff.
She owes us now.
Mhm.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I have about 4 days of partying now. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Well, I always tell my children that it's really a birthday month. I celebrate the whole month of March. So I accept birthday cakes and flowers all the month of March. So. All right, fellow commission members, thank you so much. Can we get a motion to adjourn this evening?
This is Kim, and I motion to close.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
I second. This is Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle. Can I get a vote from the rest of the commission members, either verbally or in the chat?
I vote yes.
Thank you. Dr.
I vote
Lee.
yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Jim.
I vote yes.
Thank you, Thelma. And that's the yes for me. I have 6 votes to adjourn the meeting, and it's still approved. Thank you so much, everyone. Please continue to stay safe and stay well, and just appreciate all of your time and effort with these meetings. And just want to send my birthday blessings on to all of you and wish you safe and happy moments in the year to come for you all as well. So thank you.
See you, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. You be safe.